Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. So, the presidential elections in Romania are over. And we have a winner. Well, the exit polls data suggests with more than 80% of the votes counted that Mr. Nicușor Dan, the pro-European candidate, is so far away ahead of Mr. George Simion that he cannot be caught from behind. Not even to... Okay. So what's going on here? I got a cat here who wants something. And what's going on? The right candidate won. Why do I say the right candidate? Because this was the most perfect, crystal clear election in Romania. The right guy won, the pro-European. Well, let me tell you this. The Romanians will still have the same Turkish saying, capul plecat, sabia nu-l taie. The bowed head is not chopped by the sword. Or the sword will not chop the bowed head. Yes, friends, I'm your bitch. Or hey, Brussels, I'm your bitch. Well, you can say, well, did you want the Russians to be in charge? No, I didn't want either of these guys to be in charge. I wanted Romania to be independent. I don't think that Mr. Simion, first of all, is a Russian agent or works for the Russians. The other guy, I don't think he works for... Anyway, let's move on. Let's see what happened. So we have here 3 articles plus some extra information from my friends in Romania. All right, so let's start with the first article. Pro-European candidate leads in Romanian presidential race. Exit polls. Bucharest Mayor Nicușor Dan has an edge over his competitor George Simion in 3 out of 4 pollsters. Okay, here it is. Dan generated slightly over 54% of the vote. Data published by Avant-Garde and Kurs show. Another pollster in Skop put his result at 52. Simion was gaining between 45 and 48 according to the 3 exit polls. Alright, my friends, voter turnout for the runoff on Sunday was significantly higher than in the first round held on May 4th. Exactly as Trump and Biden. Surprise, surprise! Is it because we make up votes? No. Don't even try. According to the Romanian Electoral Authority, around 53% of eligible votes, 9.5 million people cast ballots in the first round. In a runoff, which is today, these figures rose to nearly 65% and 11.6 million respectively. Over 1.6 million Romanians abroad voted, according to Electoral Authority data amounting to roughly 13% of all votes cast. Got it? Okay, that's the first information. Second one. Alegeri prezidențiale Nicușor Dan cu peste 745.000 în față după numărarea a 80,30% din voturi. Live text. So there is the presidential elections, Nicușor Dan, with over 745,000 people or votes ahead after they counted 80.30% of the votes. So this is Nicușor Dan, educated in France, and this is Mr. George Simion. Alright, my friends, here it is. Rezultatele oficiale parțiale de numărarea 80. So this is the partial data after 80% of the votes. And they tell us that we have here Nicușor Dan 53.94, so 54, they got a guy 46. Now, I don't think that could be reached from behind. And CNN is saying Romania's pro-European candidate, European Union candidate, has lead over hard right nationalists. That's bad, right? Okay, why? Because that's bad for a group of people, one particular. Preliminary election data shows. Okay, all right, so the right guy won. But you know what's interesting is based on this information here, I will show you, and that information comes from my cousin, actually. He says 1 out of 7 Romanians voted on special voting lists. So 1 in 7 voted on special. Like in America, they vote on voting mail-in ballot, kind of. All right. Remember when Biden won with the most votes ever? Why? you always can add votes. I'm not saying that what's happened. It's just an example. Whatever, my friends. First, congratulations to these guys for putting this show for the rest of us to go and confirm what we already knew. But for us, for the citizens, or for the people in general, for the Romanian citizens, let's put it this way, there's a victory. Regardless on what side you were on these elections. You were on Nicușor Dan's and you won elections organized by, okay? Or on George Simeon's, the losing side. We both seem to win. And that is what? This is I'm not talking about these elections. I'm talking about a movie I saw. If people have to rig elections, that means I'm not saying that this is true here. No, I'm not referencing this imaginary scenario to the elections in Romania or the US. No, I'm not doing that. But I'm saying if people have to rig elections, that means this is our victory. That means really the person who might get elected has power. Because otherwise they wouldn't even bother to rig elections. If they rig elections, you know what I mean? I'm not saying they do. So that's our victory. That means the matrix doesn't have full control. They don't handle everything yet. Otherwise, they would say, I don't give a shit which of the two will win, because I will be able to control both of them. But, if some people rig and do all kind of things, that tells you they don't control everything yet. So, in this case, let's say it mattered, right? Really, who won? Nicușor Dan would be pro-European Union and George Simeon would be pro-Putin, right? Yes. So then that means if really George Simeon would have been elected, that means he really could have done something bad for the country, which is aligned to Putin's direction, to the axis of evil, correct? Correct. So that's our victory as human beings. The rest is their victory, regardless. So I'm glad I realized this little thing. So 1 out of 7 of Romanians voted, or the people who were allowed to vote, on special lists. It's always nice to have specialists. Hey, by the way, here are some special votes from the special list right here. All I care is for the Romanians, for Romania, to be a fantastic country. Regardless who that is. If you have a gypsy or a Roma, if you have a Romanian, if you have a German, if you have a Saxon, if you have a Hungarian, if you have a midget, if you have a homosexual, if you have, that's unimportant. What's important, if that individual in charge as a president works for the interest of Romania. I have great doubts that if Mr. Nicușor Dan is the pro-European Union, he's not, I think, on the right side. I don't think he works for these guys. Unless he's going to come and do certain things against the European Union. Why? Because I don't think the European Union is really a positive union. I think it's really a tyrannical union. And I think the fact that we, the Romanians, have military troops from NATO on the country and are barking towards Russia, that's not in the Romanians' interest. But at least I think that Romania is under occupation, under military occupation, political occupation, economic occupation, and cultural occupation. That's it. I wish that would not happen. I wish that Romanians would be Romanians and will have balls and say, you know what, I don't want to be aligned with X or Y or Z, but I'm aligned with my own interest. But unfortunately, it's not like that. So people who celebrate their pro-European Union, I wouldn't say that loud, I'm pro-European Union. Really, my friends, really. Now I'm going to give you an example of some of Romanians' attitude that I met in Romania last year. I stayed over there for some months. So besides the fact that I know Romanians very well, I would say, more than they know themselves, let's put it this way. A little bit of narcissism needed here, right? I'm going to give you one example. And this is one example out of many I can give you. Just one. I went to a shop, to a store, grocery store, and like in Canada, who again are socialists, they don't give you bags, plastic bags. You have to pay for them. in America, the richest country in the world, you don't have to pay for plastic bags. It's right there, man. We're rich, bitch. All right. So I, coming from United States of America, I went to this store, and the cashier, the woman over there, did not give me a bag. And I asked for a bag, and she asked me, she said, you have to pay for it. And I said, what do you mean you have to pay for it? And she said, this is what she said. You have to pay for it in France too. Oh my fucking God. I was like, wow, in France? Wow. So her point of reference, her pinnacle, her heaven, the best world is France. Can you imagine? Instead of saying, well, that's the way we do it here in Romania. No. She told me that even those guys, those super French Mbappes, they also have to pay for it. And I said, yeah, but in the United States of America, you don't have to pay. And by the way, I said, don't give me those guys from France. Those are communists. She didn't get it. And I got my things and I left. Just an example. For her, France was something over there. Yes. European. Să nu supărăm Europa. Remember after the revolution? Don't say anything, Romanians. So Europe come and invest and will take over us. And in Romania was like this. These guys talking. And people from Romania know exactly what I'm talking about. Europa vine la noi. Nu, Europa. And I was very young, not even adult at that time. And I was thinking, slaves, servants. That's what they are. Servants, slave mentality. Look into Nietzsche's slave morality and master morality. Slave morality, right there. Everybody, let my pants down and do Europa. And I was like, no. We should do everything through our own selves, our own balls. No. Without Europa, we're gonna be dead. But independent, well, some people like to eat more, but be in a cage. Better, but in a cage. Other people want to be there somewhere outside, a little bit from time to time hungry, a little bit thinner, but independent, free. Okay, but that's the way it is. These are happy. These guys are happy that they voted towards the European Union. That's the way I see it. As I said, I would like Romania to be prosperous, to be independent, to be healthy, mentally healthy, with balls like Hungary. Oh, Hungary is owned by Russia. Okay, I got it, right? But at least like those guys. And the Hungarians are laughing their asses. They say, okay, you again signed up for the European Union's tyranny. I don't know if I'm going to fly to European Union again, if these guys are not going to do a cavity search on me. But it's okay. Maybe I'd like it. All right, my friends. This is it. Nicușor Dan won. Simeon lost. I guarantee you this is how the media will portray this victory in Europe and in Romania. There was the clearest, most perfect elections ever. No irregularities at all. No fraud at all. I know Mr. Simeon is going to say, oh, it was rigged, this was blah, blah, blah. And everybody's going to say, the jackals will say, oh, that was sour grapes. Yeah. But a problem. There's a little problem. And I'm saying it, as a joke. Some people said, as I said about 4 minutes ago, some people said that George Simeon is a gypsy, a Țigan, or Rom, however you want. I prefer Țigan because I met a lot of Tzigans saying Țigan, gypsy, whatever. So he's a minority where the Romanians are racist. I mean, the European Union allowed that to happen. Remember, if Obama would have lost, but when he won, everybody proved that there's no racism in America. Now you have George Simeon, he lost. Now if he is Țigan, gypsy, I'm just kidding. If the things would have been the other way around, I guarantee you that point that would have been identity politics would have been up in arms in a second. Oh my God, because Romanians did it again. I don't care. Like, as I said, could be a cyclop, could be with one ball, but big one. You know what I mean? I don't care. Midget or, as I already said. We'll see, my friends. We'll see. We'll see what's going on. You know what's strange? It's strange that from 40%, the initial, the first and fourth 4th of May or something, when it was this was runoff election. This guy got 40%. The other guy got like 20, if I remember. So this guy got only 4%, I'm sorry, 6% more. So Simeon was able to get only 6% out of the whole poll that was about, let's say, 40, 60. From about 40% of other people, plus the extras, right? So let's say almost 50% of the remaining, now because it's more than they voted then, more now than then, about 10% if I remember correctly. So then Simeon was not able to get but only 6%. And the other guy got what? If from 20, he's got what? 34%. He got more than 34% just like this. I mean, mathematically, it's not impossible. Not impossible. Is it probable? Nah, niet. Remember, George Simeon ran together with Mr. Călin Georgescu, who both won the primaries, the initial. Georgescu won the first one and Simeon won the second one, and they remain with their crazies, with the far right. Remember? That's it. Can you believe that? I can't. I mean, is it impossible? No. Is it probable? No. Not in my books. I don't know. You can go by that. And I hope, if you agree with that, I hope that you run your life by the same principle, by the same, I don't know, way of judging probabilities. Okay? I want you to go in life and use the same way. The same. I will do this. You know, that's Mike Tyson, but I think I got one shot. I'm going to try it. I want you to do that and see if it works. Mike Tyson got 99% that's going to knock you out. You got 1%. But you're going to go there and say, ha! And then Mike Tyson, who? And then you got the next attempt. I'm going to just go over there and I'm going to gain 54%. And Mike Tyson is going to go to 46 the next time. How? Doesn't make sense, but hey. Just think, this guy, just Simeon, got what? As I said, 6%? And they 10% more supposedly voted. I mean, and besides, when I see this kind of 46 to 55, or in America, 51 to 49, I don't believe them. Personally. Am I free? Am I free? You can say we're this denier. No, I'm skeptical. Can I be skeptical? Can I say there's no moon over there? Even if there's a moon, can I say it? I make a fool of myself if I want, my friends. All right. Good luck. Romania will descend in more European Union tyranny. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.
In the words of Robert Kennedy Jr., the state of health among Americans is quite poor, and we need to eliminate the toxins from their mouths. There is an Italian researcher who has made an incredible discovery for health, who has supported and helped via his social media platforms to hold a major event in Milan featuring Robert Kennedy Jr. He, along with Michelle Losalento, established the largest demonstration ever in Italy featuring military and police officers alongside the citizens in favor of human rights against mandatory vaccinations. At that large demonstration, he also announced that Italian soldiers would not obey orders to go to war in Ukraine versus Russia. Given that that square hosted the largest demonstration in history in Italy by military and police personnel joined with the people. For years, he predicted on social media that Trump and Putin would create peace. However, let's focus on the discovery of this researcher. Watch this video now.
Why do we suggest you switch your toothpaste tube to Blanco Dent? In-tube has even 85% of water in it. If we direct the tube outward without cap, the water will not flow out. Why doesn't it come out? Because the adhesives, thickeners, and binders are placed here. A bit of toothpaste left on the little saucer. See, it sticks, but while it remains stuck to the little saucer, it also clings to the billions of bristles of the brush. And here below, day after day, it will accumulate more and more. it is impossible to wash it away. And here, viruses, bacteria, and many other things attach themselves. Just as Louis Pasteur discovered, with the fermentation of liquids, where there is water, viruses, bacteria, and molds form. In the toothpaste tube, since we said there is water, it must be added to prevent mold, viruses, and bacteria from forming. Antibacteria and antibiotics are added. These substances are all absorbed sublingually. For this reason, we say to replace your toothpaste tube with Blanco Dent toothpaste, which is 100% edible, without water, pure, and that cleans, feeds, strengthens teeth 30 times more. I feel like telling you today that a fuel has been released that goes 30 times further. It strengthens the car, and if you breathe it in or eat it, it's also good for you. For this reason, we say, first of all, to replace your toothpaste with Blanco Dent. There are many other reasons that you will find later in other videos. Replace your toothpaste with Blanco Dent.
There are countless testimonials that this is true. As stated by Kennedy Jr., we should base our beliefs solely on facts, evidence, and tangible results. Blanco Dent has amassed a wealth of facts and clear results over the last 10 years, sourced from tens of thousands of users, to be considered the most scientifically studied and researched toothpaste in history. You can buy Blanco Dent on Amazon. Click the link below and let's help American health.
Try it now. Buy it on Amazon. Endless testimonials, the most studied toothpaste in history. We use it in our family, a scientific product that works. Link below in the description. Thanks.